Aloha, my name is Kent Glover, and my project is How Environmental Policy Shapes the Aquarium Trade, Aquaculture of the Hawaiian Endemic Potter's Angelfish. Marine ornamental aquaculture, or MOA, is becoming increasingly important as we face growing ecological concerns in the global marine aquarium trade, valued at $2.15 billion annually at retail. Within the trade, around 20 to 30 million marine ornamental fish are harvested from the wild each year, placing pressure on reef ecosystems, particularly in regions like Hawaii. To mitigate this impact, the state of Hawaii implemented a ban on commercial aquarium fish collection in 2021, which has shifted the focus towards sustainable alternatives like marine ornamental aquaculture. Although marine ornamental aquaculture is extremely exciting, it is also extremely difficult due to the tiny pelagic eggs and larvae of these species. It requires continuous cultivation of live feeds such as copepods, rotifers, artemia, and algae to feed those. However, increased knowledge of larval growth and complex life histories can improve the survival rates and aid in future fisheries management of these species. As you can see in Figure 1, these fish are taken directly off of the reefs, where they then enter a complex chain of custody, eventually ending up in an aquarist's home. The objectives of this project were threefold. First, to document and describe the larval development of Potter's angelfish for the first time. Then, to investigate with rearing protocols, enhancing survival rates using an iterative approach to increase efficiency. Thirdly, we analyzed how the environmental policy regarding the collection of Hawaiian reef fish impacted the aquarium trade. We did this by collecting Potter's angelfish broodstock from around the island of Oahu. They were then quarantined, conditioned, and housed at OI. Their eggs were collected each day and reared in 200 and 1,000-liter tanks with varying feeding regimens. The larval growth, development, and survival were tracked through periodic measurements and photographs, evaluating the effects of each feeding regimen. The impacts of Hawaii's collection ban on the aquarium industry were assessed through price data and stakeholder interviews, and a policy scenario with state investment in ornamental aquaculture was proposed to evaluate its effects on stakeholders. We found that spawning occurred each evening, exhibiting lunar and seasonal periodicity, peaking in late winter to early spring, corroborating previous research. They had an average of 6,728 eggs per night with a 54.9% viability. Their larvae began exogenous feeding at 3 days post-hatch, flexion from 14 to 22 days post-hatch, settlement at approximately 60 days post-hatch, and full juvenile coloration around 90 days post-hatch. During the larval rearing process, there were significant mortality events seen when starting new feeds such as artemia or dry feeds, suggesting a developmental sensitivity or introduction of pathogens. Feeding regimes were adjusted in response to these mortality events, which resulted in the first cohort of Potter's angelfish for consumers. Further trials increased efficiency by using less algae, but still had roughly the same survival. Figure 3 outlines the whole early life cycle of Potter's angelfish, from egg to preflexion, flexion, post-flexion, and juvenile stages. Figure 4 shows our daily egg output of our broodstock Potter's angelfish from December 22 through May 24. And Figure 5 is our feeding schedule that we developed tailored for the Potter's angelfish. So how did Hawaii's collection ban impact the marine aquarium trade? The ban on wild collection led to decreased supply and higher prices for Hawaiian species. This policy change drove increased investment in marine ornamental aquaculture, leading to the successful commercial production of species like the yellow tang, then trickling down to the Potter's angelfish. Figure 6 highlights the disparity in price between wild-caught yellow tang and Potter's angelfish before the collection ban and aquacultured specimens after the collection ban, highlighting the creation of a sustainable industry. Our findings highlight marine ornamental aquaculture as a critical component of a sustainable aquarium industry, particularly when supported by effective policy implementation. This research marks the first detailed documentation of Potter's angelfish larval development and the first large cohort ever produced for consumers. Further optimization of these protocols could pave the way for commercial scale production, reducing reliance on wild-caught specimens and promoting sustainable practices in Hawaii. Thank you for listening. I'd like to thank the incredible support from Chad and the Finfish team at Oceanic Institute, as well as our partners at the Biota Group. For more details, please scan the QR code to access references and watch a short documentary on this project. Mahalo nui loa and have a great day.